High above Earth's night side, the Artemis defense platform drifted silently among a cloud of space debris. To any observer, it appeared to be nothing more than another piece of forgotten satellite wreckage. Commander Sarah Chen stood in its observation deck, her dark eyes fixed on the latest quantum sensor readings. The massive holographic display before her showed what the rest of humanity's deep space detection network had discovered. The Exarcheth invasion fleet had just entered the Oort cloud. Time to arrival, she asked her second-in-command, Major David Okonjo, who stood beside her analyzing the data streams. 36 hours at their current velocity, he replied, his fingers dancing through the holographic interface. They're following the exact approach vector our predictive models anticipated. 342 vessels, mostly warships. They're not even trying to hide their presence. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. For the past 50 years, humanity had maintained an elaborate charade of technological inadequacy. While officially struggling with basic spaceflight and clean energy production, Earth's true capabilities had advanced far beyond anything the galaxy's older civilizations could imagine. The quantum sensors that had detected the approaching fleet were themselves disguised as defunct weather satellites, part of Operation Mirage, humanity's greatest deception. Every nation on Earth participated in this grand illusion, from the carefully maintained appearance of political rivalries to the intentionally inefficient power plants dotting the landscape. Status of the planetary shield grid, Sarah asked, bringing up another holographic display. Operating at full capacity, completely undetectable under our quantum masking field, Major Okonjo confirmed. The Exarcheth's preliminary scans are showing exactly what we want them to see, a primitive civilization barely capable of reaching their own moon. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in what appeared to be an abandoned research station, Earth's quantum AI cores processed every scrap of data from the approaching fleet. They analyzed shield frequencies, weapons signatures, and communication patterns, adding to the vast database humanity had built while watching other civilizations fall to the Exarcheth Empire's expansion. Initiate Phase 1 of the Thunderbird Protocol, Sarah commanded. Across the planet, carefully orchestrated events began to unfold. Stock markets showed calculated instability, military forces moved in seemingly panicked patterns, and social media erupted with manufactured conspiracy theories about unidentified objects in the solar system. Dr. James Martinez, Earth's leading genopsychologist, appeared on the main display. The Exarcheth Empire follows the same pattern with every pre-FTL civilization they encounter. First comes the show of force, then the demands for submission in exchange for protection. Their entire empire is built on the psychological impact of technological superiority. Sarah nodded, watching as the first Exarcheth scout ships entered the inner solar system. Their sensors swept outward, examining what they believed to be a primitive civilization ripe for conquest. The alien vessels passed within kilometers of Earth's most powerful weapon platforms without detecting them. Their psychological profile suggests they've never faced serious resistance during first contact, Dr. Martinez continued. They've conquered 23 civilizations in the past century, none of which survived with their independence intact. Their overconfidence will be their undoing. Commander Chen's expression hardened as she watched the alien fleets approach. How many of those civilizations were actually what they appeared to be, James? None of them had our advantages, he replied. While the galaxy saw us fighting over fossil fuels and struggling with climate change, we were perfecting quantum engineering and gravitational manipulation. Every conflict, every apparent setback was carefully choreographed to maintain our image of technological inferiority. Sarah brought up the tactical display, showing Earth's true defensive capabilities. Automated battle stations hibernated within seemingly dead asteroids. The dark side of the moon housed humanity's real space fleet, vessels incorporating technology centuries beyond what Earth officially possessed. Quantum-linked weapon systems could strike simultaneously across the entire solar system without any warning. Begin broadcasting the detection of their fleet, she ordered. Make it appear as though our deep space telescopes just noticed them. Follow the standard protocol. Government denials, leaked footage, gradual official confirmation. As the commands were relayed, Sarah thought about the decades of preparation that had led to this moment. While other civilizations reached for the stars openly, humanity had chosen a different path. They had watched, learned, and prepared. The galaxy's powers had dismissed Earth as an insignificant backwater world, never suspecting that they were dealing with a civilization that had mastered quantum engineering while pretending to be excited about launching rockets with chemical fuel. The main display showed the HFY Fleet's flagship, a massive vessel that dwarfed everything around it. Its design spoke of arrogance, all sweeping lines and gleaming surfaces meant to inspire awe in primitive species. They're preparing their standard first contact package, Major Okonjo reported. Visual demonstrations of their technology, followed by carefully staged shows of force. Their psychological warfare relies entirely on the target's fear of their apparent technological superiority. Sarah's smile turned predatory as she watched the alien fleet approach. Humanity has spent 50 years preparing for this moment. Let them come with their displays of power and their demands for submission. Let them think us primitive and afraid. She paused, looking at the holographic representation of Earth's hidden defenses. It's time to show the galaxy that appearances can be deceiving. The Artemis platform continued its silent orbit, waiting for the moment when humanity would finally reveal its true face to the stars. The United Earth Defense Council's emergency session was in full swing as holographic representatives from every major nation appeared in the secure bunker beneath the Himalayas. Commander Chen's avatar stood in the center, surrounded by the world's decision-makers as she delivered her briefing. The HFY Fleet has passed Mars' orbit, she reported, manipulating the holographic display to show the aliens' advance. Their preliminary scans confirm that Operation Mirage is working perfectly. They're seeing exactly what we want them to see. General Maria Torres, commander of Earth's hidden fleet, stepped forward. Her weathered face showed the careful calculation of someone who had spent decades preparing for this moment. Our vessels remain undetected in their lunar cradles. The quantum masking field is performing beyond expectations. They haven't detected a single anomaly in our carefully crafted facade. The council chamber's displays showed various feeds from around the world. News networks were broadcasting the first grainy images of the alien fleet, captured by what appeared to be civilian telescopes. Social media was erupting with a carefully orchestrated mixture of panic, speculation, and conspiracy theories, all part of humanity's grand deception. Phase 2 of the Thunderbird Protocol is ready for implementation, announced Dr. Marcus Wong, head of Earth's Quantum Technology Division. His hologram manipulated several data streams as he spoke. Our surface installations continue to broadcast appropriate levels of electromagnetic radiation consistent with a pre-FTL civilization. The XRKeth are picking up exactly the kind of technological signatures they expect from a society still dependent on fusion power and chemical rockets. Sarah watched as another display showed the XRKeth's initial attempts at communication. Their transmissions were designed to overwhelm and intimidate. Massive broadcasts across all electromagnetic frequencies, filled with displays of their technological might. They expected to find a primitive civilization cowering at their first demonstration of power. Their psychological warfare tactics are predictable. Dr. Martinez interjected, his avatar highlighting specific patterns in the alien transmissions. They're following the same protocol they've used in every first contact scenario we studied. First comes the display of overwhelming force, then the offer of protection in exchange for submission. The council members nodded grimly. They had rehearsed this scenario countless times since first detecting the XRKeth Empire's expansion toward Earth space 15 years ago. Every civilian installation, every power plant, every satellite had been carefully designed to maintain the illusion of technological inferiority. Begin Phase 2, Sarah commanded. Across the planet, carefully planned events began to unfold. Military bases scrambled aircraft that appeared to barely match fifth-generation fighter capabilities. Radar installations broadcast their detection of the alien fleet with carefully calibrated uncertainty. Government leaders made confused and contradictory statements about the approaching vessels. Deep beneath the Atlantic Ocean, in another hidden facility, Earth's quantum AI cores continued their analysis of the HFY fleet. Each scan, each transmission, each movement was cataloged and compared against decades of collected intelligence. The alien shield frequencies, weapon signatures, and communication protocols were all laid bare before humanity's true technological might. They'd begun their standard intimidation display, Major Okonjo reported, his avatar appearing beside Sarah's. Their flagship is positioning itself for a demonstration of force. Based on previous encounters, they'll likely target one of our defunct satellites or an abandoned space station. Sarah's lips curved in a slight smile. Let them have their show. Each demonstration gives our systems more data to analyze. Each attack reveals more about their tactical capabilities. The Council watched as the HFY flagship charged its main weapon array. The alien vessel's energy readings spiked as it prepared to destroy what it thought was humanity's most advanced space installation, an outdated communications satellite that had been specifically placed for this purpose. Their weapons technology is exactly as our deep space intelligence suggested, Dr. Wong commented, his fingers dancing through streams of data. Plasma-based destructive beams, but their targeting systems rely on predictable quantum frequencies. Our countermeasures will be more than adequate. Below the surface of Mars, automated defense platforms silently tracked the alien fleet's every move. Quantum-linked weapon systems remained in standby, their existence hidden behind layers of technological deception. The dark side of the moon housed humanity's true space fleet, vessels that incorporated technology centuries beyond what Earth officially possessed. Status of the civilian response protocols, Sarah asked, turning to another council member. Proceeding exactly as planned, replied Dr. Elena Popov, Earth's Media Control Director. Social networks are flooding with appropriate levels of panic and confusion. Our controlled leaks about government incompetence and military unpreparedness are being widely shared. The XRKF's cultural analysis teams will find exactly the kind of chaotic, disorganized response they expect from a pre-FTL civilization. The main display showed the Kharkiv flagship's weapon discharge, the brilliant beam of energy lancing out to destroy the sacrificial satellite. The explosion was spectacular, carefully calculated to appear significant, while revealing nothing of humanity's true capabilities. They're preparing their first direct communication, Major Okonjo announced. Standard Conquest Protocol suggests they'll demand Earth's immediate surrender, offering protection in exchange for complete submission to their empire. Sarah nodded, watching as the alien transmission began to broadcast across all frequencies. The message was exactly what they had expected. A towering alien figure, adorned in elaborate ceremonial armor, speaking in carefully translated Earth languages. People of Earth, the transmission began, the alien's voice dripping with calculated superiority. We are the Tarketh Empire, masters of 1,000 stars. We have observed your primitive civilization and have come to offer you salvation. Submit to our rule, and we will guide you to the stars. Resist and face annihilation. The council members exchanged knowing looks. This was the moment they had prepared for through decades of careful planning and deception. Everything, from the panicked responses of Earth's military forces to the confused reactions of world governments, had been choreographed for this precise moment. Initiate final preparation sequences, Sarah commanded. All hidden installations stand ready. Quantum shield grid at full capacity but remaining masked. Fleet crews at battle stations but maintaining emission silence. She paused, looking at each council member's hologram. The Exarcheth Empire is about to learn that appearances can be very deceiving indeed. As the alien transmission continued its demands, humanity's greatest deception entered its final phase. Behind the carefully maintained facade of a primitive civilization, the most advanced military force in known space prepared to reveal itself. The trap that had taken 50 years to prepare was about to be sprung. The Kharketh flagship's ultimatum hung in Earth's communications channels, its final words echoing across every frequency. You have one planetary rotation to submit to our rule. Resist and face extinction. Commander Sarah Chen stood in the Artemis platform's command center, watching the alien fleet arrange itself in a standard intimidation formation above Earth's northern hemisphere. Their ships gleamed in the sunlight, a display of overwhelming force meant to cow a primitive civilization into submission. They've deployed exactly as predicted, Major Okonjo reported, his hands moving through holographic tactical displays. Standard Sarketh conquest configuration. Heavy warships positioned to target major population centers. Support vessels maintaining their extinction-level weapon coverage. How thoughtful of them to group up so nicely, Sarah replied, her voice carrying a hint of amusement. Status of Operation Mirage's final phase. All systems ready. Dr. Wang's voice came through the quantum-linked communications. Our surface installations continue to broadcast appropriate levels of panic and military mobilization. The Xarketh are detecting exactly what they expect. Primitive nuclear weapons being armed, outdated military satellites being repositioned, and civilian communications showing widespread terror. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Earth's quantum AI cores completed their final analysis of the alien fleet. Every weapon frequency, shield harmonics, and tactical weakness had been cataloged and countered. 50 years of preparation were about to bear fruit. The main display showed the Kharketh's war prince appearing again, his massive form adorned with even more ceremonial armor than before. Your time grows short, primitives. We detect your pathetic attempts at military preparation. Your nuclear weapons and chemical rockets cannot harm us. Submit now, and we will be merciful. Sarah's eyes narrowed as she watched the alien leader's posturing. Fascinating, isn't it? She mused to her staff. They're so convinced of their superiority that they've never considered they might be the ones walking into a trap. Final status check, she commanded, her voice carrying across all of Earth's hidden command centers. Quantum shield grid. Online and masked, came the immediate response. Lunar fleet. Ready for emergence, all crews at battle stations. Mars defense platforms. Targeting solutions computed and locked. Asteroid belt installations. Quantum-linked weapon systems charged and synchronized. Sarah nodded, satisfaction evident in her expression. Initiate terminal protocol. Authorization, Chen, Alpha 70. Across the solar system, humanity's hidden defenses stirred to life. Within the moon's dark craters, massive hangar doors began to open, still shielded from detection by quantum masking fields. Asteroid belt installations powered up their weapon systems, their existence still hidden from the Sarketh's scans. Their extinction-level weapons are powering up, Major Okonjo reported calmly. They're right on schedule, planning to demonstrate their power by destroying one of our major cities. Time to show them what humanity is really capable of, Sarah replied. Dr. Wang, you may begin. In that moment, everything changed. The quantum masking field that had hidden Earth's true technological level for decades began to shift, not failing but transforming. Like a veil being lifted, humanity's real defensive capabilities became visible to the stunned alien fleet. The Xarketh's sensors suddenly detected what had been hidden. A planetary shield grid far more advanced than anything their empire possessed. Quantum-linked weapon platforms emerged from their hiding places throughout the solar system, their targeting systems already locked on the alien vessels. From the dark side of the moon, humanity's true fleet rose. These weren't the chemical rockets and primitive spacecraft the aliens had detected. These were vessels that incorporated technology centuries beyond anything that Sarketh had ever encountered. By the eternal void, the War Prince's voice crackled across the communications channels, all pretense of superiority gone. What deception is this? Deception, Sarah responded. allowing her image to be broadcast to the alien fleet for the first time. We prefer to think of it as prudent preparation. For 50 years, we've watched your empire expand. We've studied your tactics, analyzed your technology, and prepared our response. While you saw what you expected to see, a primitive civilization struggling with basic spaceflight, we built something far greater. The displays showed that Kharkith fleet's desperate attempt to reposition as they realized their danger. Their sensors were finally detecting the true extent of Earth's defenses, automated battle stations hiding in every sector of space, weapon platforms that could strike simultaneously across vast distances through quantum entanglement, and defensive systems that made their most powerful weapons look primitive by comparison. Impossible. The War Prince sputtered. Your civilization was pre-FTL. Our scans confirmed. Your scans showed you exactly what we wanted them to show. Sarah interrupted. Every primitive satellite, every inefficient power plant, every political conflict you detected was carefully crafted to maintain our deception. While you saw nations fighting over fossil fuels, we were perfecting quantum engineering. While you watched us struggle with chemical rockets, we were building ships that could outmatch anything in your fleet. The Kharkith vessels began to power up their weapons, but they were already too late. Earth's quantum-linked defense grid had been tracking them since they entered the solar system, computing targeting solutions for every ship in their fleet. You are making a terrible mistake, the War Prince warned, though his voice had lost its commanding tone. The Empire will not. The Empire will do nothing, Sarah stated firmly, because the Empire will never know what truly happened here. You see, War Prince, we've had 50 years to study not just your weapons and shields, but your communication systems as well. No distress signal will reach your empire. No warning will alert them to their error. As far as they will know, your fleet was destroyed by a primitive civilization's suicide tactics, a cautionary tale about the unpredictable nature of pre-FTL species. The main display showed humanity's fleet taking position, their advanced weapons systems coming online. The Kharkith ships looked almost primitive in comparison, their once impressive technology revealed as inferior against Earth's true capabilities. We've spent 50 years preparing for this moment, Sarah continued, her voice carrying across all channels. Not just to defend ourselves, but to send a message. The galaxy's powers need to learn that appearances can be deceiving, that technological superiority isn't always visible, and that underestimating a civilization based on its apparent development level is a dangerous mistake. The Kharkith fleet's attempts to assume a defensive formation were futile. Earth's quantum-linked weapons could strike every ship simultaneously, their coordinated attack impossible to defend against with conventional shields. This is your only warning, Sarah announced, her voice firm. You have 30 seconds to power down your weapons and surrender. Otherwise, we will demonstrate exactly what humanity is capable of when properly motivated. As the countdown began, the displays showed chaos erupting across the alien fleet. Some vessels attempted to flee, others maintained their attack positions, but all of them were about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon had never been its hidden technology. It had been the patience to wait, watch, and prepare for this exact moment. The 30 seconds ticked away in tense silence. On the Artemis platform's main display, the Kharkith fleet's formation had devolved into chaos. Some ships maintained their attack positions, others attempted to retreat, while the flagship hung motionless, its commanding officers apparently frozen in indecision. Time's up, Sarah announced, her voice carrying no emotion. They've made their choice. Execute Operation Thunderstrike. Across the solar system, humanity's response began with devastating precision. The quantum-linked weapon platforms activated simultaneously, their attacks coordinated through entanglement networks that made light speed delays irrelevant. There was no warning, no visible energy buildup, just the sudden, synchronized failure of shields across the entire Kharkith fleet. First wave successful, Major Okonjo reported, his hands moving through tactical displays. Their quantum shield harmonics have been completely disrupted. They're defenseless. The Karketh ships, their supposedly impenetrable defenses stripped away, began firing desperately at Earth. Their plasma weapons, designed to terrorize pre-FTL civilizations, splashed harmlessly against humanity's true planetary shield grid. The energy was not just blocked but captured and redirected, feeding back into Earth's defense systems. How? The War Prince's voice crackled across the command channel, all pretense of superiority gone. Our shields. This is impossible. Impossible. Sarah replied, allowing a hint of satisfaction to enter her voice. We've had decades to study your shield technology. Did you think those deep space probes you detected at the edge of your territory were simply primitive observation devices? They were quantum sensors, analyzing every aspect of your ships, your weapons, your defenses. From the dark side of the moon, humanity's true fleet emerged. Unlike the bulky, intimidating designs of the Karketh vessels, Earth's ships were sleek and efficient. They moved with impossible grace, their quantum drives allowing maneuvers that seemed to defy physics itself. Second wave initiated, Dr. Wong announced from his command center deep beneath the Pacific, targeting their propulsion systems. The coordinated attack struck with surgical precision. Quantum-tipped missiles, their warheads synchronized through entanglement, bypassed the Karketh's secondary shields and struck their engines simultaneously. Across the alien fleet, ship after ship lost power, their advanced propulsion systems rendered useless by weapons they couldn't even detect until it was too late. This is not how war is fought. The War Prince protested, his voice edged with desperation. There should be honor in combat, not this trickery. Sarah's laugh was cold. Honor? You came to our solar system with an extinction-level weapon, planning to either enslave or destroy our entire species. You assumed we were primitive because we showed you what you expected to see. That wasn't trickery, War Prince, it was strategy. The displays showed the Karketh fleet's desperate attempts to mount a defense. Their weapons, impressive against less advanced civilizations, proved inadequate against humanity's quantum-based technology. Their tactical doctrines, evolved through centuries of unopposed conquest, fell apart against an enemy that had spent decades preparing specifically to counter them. Their command and control network is fragmenting, Major Okonjo reported. They've lost coordination between their battle groups. Individual ships are trying to jump to hyperspace, but our quantum disruption field is preventing escape. Interesting, Sarah mused, watching the chaos unfold. They've never needed a backup plan before. Their entire tactical doctrine is based on overwhelming force against inferior opponents. They don't know how to fight an enemy that can match, let alone exceed, their capabilities. From hidden bases in the asteroid belt, another wave of humanity's defenses activated. Quantum mines, their positions masked until the last moment, detonated in carefully planned sequences. The explosions weren't meant to destroy, but to further disrupt the Karketh's remaining systems, creating a cascade of failures that rendered their weapons useless. We're detecting multiple surrender signals, Dr. Wong announced. Approximately 40% of their surviving ships are powering down weapons and shields. The War Prince's flagship, however, was not among them. The massive vessel's weapons continued to fire uselessly against Earth's defenses, its attacks growing more desperate with each passing moment. Your choice, War Prince, Sarah broadcast. You can surrender now, or we can demonstrate our full capabilities. Either way, your fleet will not leave this solar system intact. The response came in the form of a massive energy buildup in the flagship's main weapon array. The Karketh's extinction-level weapon, capable of rendering a planet's surface uninhabitable, began to power up. A predictable response, Sarah sighed. Major Okonjo, you may proceed with the final phase. The quantum AI cores had already predicted this possibility and prepared a countermeasure. As the flagship's weapon reached critical charge, a precisely calibrated pulse from Earth's defense grid triggered a cascade failure in its power systems. The massive energy buildup collapsed in on itself, leaving the once mighty vessel drifting powerless in space. Status report, Sarah commanded, watching as the last pockets of resistance were systematically neutralized. 215 Sarketh vessels have surrendered, Major Okonjo reported. 87 have been disabled. The remaining 40 are combat ineffective, though still attempting to resist. Total human casualties, 0. All defense systems operating at optimal capacity. Sarah nodded, satisfaction evident in her expression. Begin recovery operations. I want every piece of their technology cataloged and analyzed. We'll learn from their mistakes just as we learned from their successes. The main display showed Earth's ships moving to secure the defeated fleet. Recovery teams, their technology far more advanced than anything that Sarketh had ever encountered, began systematically boarding and securing the alien vessels. A message from the War Prince, Major Okonjo announced. He's offering unconditional surrender. Accept it, Sarah replied. And make sure our quantum recorders have documented everything. The galaxy's powers need to understand what happened here, not just the defeat, but the reason for it. They need to learn that technological superiority isn't always obvious, and that underestimating a potential opponent is the gravest military error possible. As Earth's ships secured their victory, Sarah thought about the decades of preparation that had led to this moment. The patience to watch and wait, the discipline to maintain their deception, the wisdom to learn from their opponent's strengths and weaknesses. These had been humanity's true weapons, far more powerful than any quantum technology. Prepare a message for the Sarketh Empire, she commanded. Let them know that their fleet encountered something they didn't expect, a civilization that had learned from their mistakes before they even made them. The galaxy is about to change, and humanity will no longer hide in the shadows. 3 months after the Battle of Sol System, Commander Sarah Chen stood before the United Earth Defense Council, no longer as holograms but in person. The massive chamber beneath the Himalayas buzzed with activity as representatives from every nation gathered to discuss humanity's next steps. The last of the Sarketh prisoners have been processed, she reported, manipulating the holographic display to show the detention facilities on Mars. Their psychological profiles are fascinating. Most of them still can't quite comprehend how thoroughly they were deceived. Dr. Martinez stepped forward, adding his expertise to the briefing. The capture of their fleet has provided us with invaluable insights into their empire's psychology. Their entire civilization is built on the assumption of technological superiority. The idea that a primitive species could not only match but exceed their capabilities has shattered their worldview. The main display showed the carefully edited footage that had been allowed to reach the Sarketh Empire. The video portrayed a desperate battle where a seemingly primitive civilization had achieved victory through sacrifice and determination, carefully obscuring humanity's true technological level while still demonstrating that Earth was not to be trifled with. The Empire's response, General Torres asked, her weathered face showing concern. Exactly as predicted, Sarah replied. They've declared this sector of space forbidden to their forces, claiming it's inhabited by unpredictable and dangerously aggressive primitives. Their propaganda suggests we won through suicidal tactics and sheer numbers rather than superior technology. Their pride wouldn't allow them to admit the truth. And the wider galaxy? Someone asked from the audience. Dr. Wong took over the presentation, bringing up a new set of data streams. News of the Sarketh defeat has spread rapidly through interstellar channels. The galaxy's powers are reassessing their assumptions about pre-FTL civilizations. Several other empires have already withdrawn their observation posts from Earth's vicinity. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. The ripple effects of humanity's victory were spreading faster than expected. Phase 1 of Operation Starbridge is ready to begin, she announced. Our diplomatic vessels are prepared to make first contact with selected civilizations, this time on our terms. The display showed Earth's new diplomatic fleet. Unlike the utilitarian military vessels that had defeated the Sarketh, These ships were designed to showcase humanity's true technological achievement while maintaining an air of mystery about their full capabilities. We've identified 17 civilizations that have recently gained FTL capability, Sarah continued. Like us, they've been living under the shadow of the galaxy's established powers. We're offering them an alternative, an alliance of emerging species based on mutual respect and technological cooperation. Dr. Elena Popov, now Earth's Director of Interstellar Relations, stepped forward. Our cultural analysis suggests these civilizations will be receptive. They've watched the older empires with the same wariness we did. The Exarcheth's defeat has given them hope that the galaxy's power structure isn't as immutable as they thought. The council chamber's atmosphere was charged with possibility. After 50 years of hiding their true capabilities, humanity was finally ready to step onto the galactic stage, not as supplicants or victims, but as pioneers of a new way forward. What about the quantum masking technology? General Torres asked. Other civilizations will be desperate to acquire it, which is precisely why we're maintaining certain deceptions, Sarah replied. The galaxy knows we have advanced technology, but they don't know exactly what we're capable of. Let them think our victory was closer than it actually was. Let them wonder what other secrets we might be hiding. The display showed the ongoing transformation of Earth's solar system. The facade of primitive technology was being gradually replaced with a carefully curated image of advanced, but not unprecedented capabilities. Humanity would reveal its progress in measured steps, always keeping its true apex achievements hidden from view. The quantum AI cores have analyzed thousands of possible futures, Dr. Wong reported. The most stable outcomes occur when we position ourselves not as conquerors or liberators, but as innovators. We'll introduce new technologies gradually, helping younger civilizations develop while maintaining the balance of power. Sarah nodded, thinking of the lessons learned from the Tarketh encounter. Our greatest advantage was never our technology. It was our patience, our ability to learn from others' mistakes, and our willingness to appear weak when we were strong. Those traits will serve us well in the galaxy. The display shifted to show the first diplomatic mission being prepared. Earth's ambassadors would travel in ships that demonstrated advanced technology, while hinting at even greater capabilities held in reserve. They would offer friendship with one hand while maintaining a carefully calculated air of mystery with the other. The galaxy's powers have grown complacent, Sarah observed. They'd forgotten that every great civilization started as a primitive species. They'd forgotten the drive to innovate, to question, to look beyond the obvious. We're going to remind them. Dr. Martinez brought up the psychological profiles of various galactic civilizations. The defeat of the Exarcheth has created a moment of uncertainty. The established powers are questioning their assumptions, and the younger species are daring to dream of something better. It's the perfect time to introduce a new paradigm. The council members nodded in agreement. They had spent decades preparing for this moment, learning from every civilization they secretly observed, building not just advanced technology, but a deep understanding of galactic politics and psychology. Begin Phase 1 of Operation Starbridge, Sarah commanded. Let's show the galaxy that there's more than one path to the stars. Let's build something new. Not an empire built on force and fear, but an alliance founded on innovation and mutual respect. As the council session concluded, Sarah stood at the chamber's viewing window, looking up at the stars now visible through the quantum-enhanced display. The galaxy was vast and full of wonders, but it had grown stagnant under the rule of empires that valued power over progress. Humanity had chosen a different path. They had turned their greatest apparent weakness, their isolation and technological backwardness, into their greatest strength. They had watched, learned, and prepared in secret, building not just advanced technology, but a new vision for galactic civilization. Ready for your first diplomatic mission, Commander? Major Okonjo asked, joining her at the window. Sarah smiled, thinking of the carefully crafted presentations and demonstrations they had prepared. They would show enough to intrigue, but not enough to threaten, reveal enough to impress, but not enough to provoke fear. Just as they had done with the Exarcheth, they would let others see what they expected to see. But this time, what they showed would be an invitation rather than a deception. "The galaxy's about to change, David," she replied. "And this time, we'll be the ones writing the rules of engagement, not through force or fear, but through innovation and understanding. The age of empires is ending. The age of alliances is about to begin."